Okay, this is the last request from Justin. This is another flashlight part, and this really doesn't look too bad, so it shouldn't take very long. When I look at this, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 circles that make up the main body of it. So I'm going to make one and use my offset tool. I'm going to make the distance between these two and the distance between these two the same. So I'll make this a function of the one above it. And then I'm going to use my rectangular tool. And I think instead of messing around with making it aligned, I'm just going to make it tangent to the other circle. So if I want to change this, let's make the inside circle smaller, because it looks like it kind of cuts off right there. I will, however, make another 2-point rectangle that goes up the middle of it, and this one I will have to make the midpoint aligned with the center point here, because there is a break slightly between the two. So I'm going to switch to my trimming tool. I'm going to get rid of the parts that we don't need. Which gets a little bit tricky here. What exactly am I keeping? Oop, not that. I'm going to undo that. Let me offset this rectangle in. And the distance that I'm offsetting that is going to be the same as this here. Okay. Now I can really start to get rid of stuff. Trimming tool works really well if you just want to drag straight through something. You can also just click on individual lines if you want to be more precise with it. And then to get rid of this other stuff above and to the sides, it's a lot easier to just highlight a box all the way around them and delete instead of trying to trim them all. You could trim, it'll just take you more time. And I meant to leave that box over there. Oops. Should I go back? Yeah, I guess I'll just go back. Control-Z should take you back a couple of steps. Further than I wanted, but not too bad. Alright, I'm going to keep these lines here. There we go. Alright, now this is almost where we want it. Just highlight and delete the stuff we don't want. Forgot one. Okay, we have these little circles in here. I want these two to be equal. I want them to line up. So I'll make that center point line up with that, this center point line up with the middle. I'm going to try and make a line on this segment, if it'll let me. Looks like it's having issues with finding the midpoint. Well, I don't know if I like that endpoint anyway. Alright, so let's assume that you can measure in between here. That's something we can do, actually. Looks like it's having issues with that too. Okay, I make one more circle. I want it to be halfway between these two lines. So again, if you had dimensioned this yourself, you would know what this circle should be. And I am going to make a coincident constraint where the center point of that has to be on this circle. Looks like it actually cuts in just a little bit. Make another circle on the inside here. I want those two to be equal. I'm going to use my trim tool again to cut between these. Okay, now that I have my basic shape, I can extrude that up. And are these two the same piece? Looks like that might be the bottom and this is the top. It's a little tricky to tell what exactly it is I'm looking at here. Almost looks like these are two different pieces. Anyway, this should get you this main piece. You can always make a new sketch down here. And one way you can do that, if you can measure how far down all this stuff starts, you can click plane, and highlight over the top of this surface, drag it down whatever distance you need. And it did give me an option, I ignored it, to type in an exact distance. I have it at 0.625. So I'm going to right click and make a new sketch on this. And here when I start to make my new circles for the inside of it, you can see it's just making that off of that plane. If we wanted to go down instead of up, we can change it, and it doesn't change it to cut. I know some of you like to try and use the direction to cut or add material. Try not to do that because these buttons are actually cut and add. This just changes the direction it goes off the plane. Okay, so let's look at it from the top again. We have that now. If we wanted to make that kind of curved going in, again, it's hard to tell what exactly is going on, but we can find the plane that cuts through the middle of this, make a new sketch on it, right click and slice graphics. This is the sketch that we just made. If we don't like it so well, and we wanted to make a little bit of a curve on it. I could use a 3-point arc. As long as I close off my shape so it has, I don't even see this one. Okay, so now I have a top line, side, those 3 parts. Now I can revolve it. The axis is going to be the axis that goes through the middle, and I can remove material. You can't tell from here, but now that surface has a rounded feature to it. You can kind of see there, it has that shape on the inside. This is going to be very similar. I don't know if this is a different part or not. I don't think I'm going to make a different video for it. Sorry, Justin. But you should be able to use about the same kind of thing. You're going to start off with a couple of circles. You're going to draw the lines in between, extrude those out. To get this as a different height, use a plane like what I did here. Go down a certain distance, make this new sketch with a square and a circle, a couple rectangles above and below, and extrude that down some distance. Okay. Best of luck to you. Things like this. Feel free to make a sketch on any flat surface that you have. Be careful when other lines pop up. It might snap to that geometry, and more than likely you don't want that. So just something to be wary of. Use your geometric constraints. These are really handy. Make sure it's exactly where you want it to be. And you can cut, change your distance to all, have that go all the way through the part. Alright, best of luck to you. Chances are I'll be helping you out again with this, unless this did answer all your questions. So let me know. Thanks.